Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. In this video, I'm going to be very chatty and I wanted to take you guys along my thought process slash pre-plan slash plan of how I am going to be using all of these Hobonichi planners in 2025. I am definitely a multi-planner person. I like to have different planners for different categories of my life. It's just how my brain works. It's how I function the best. And I want to take you guys along that journey of how, again, I am planning to use these. I do want to put out there that it is not a requirement to have multiple planners. It is, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has different things they like, different things they dislike. This is my plan. I wanted to share it with you guys and take you along the journey with me. With that being said, I'm just going to categorize these really quick and tell you guys what I'm planning to use each one of these journals for. And then I'm going to be going through each one of them with sticky notes and a pen and kind of placing out slash planning out what I'm going to be doing for those different pages in each one of these planners. All that being said, again, this is going to be a chatty video. It's going to be a long video. Make sure you have a snack, a cup of water, watch it in segments, whatever you want. I'm going to have timestamps in the description for each planner individually if you're only interested in, certain categories of what I'm going to be planning out. But let me go ahead and just, again, categorize them. So this is the Hobonichi A6 Techo. This is the Japanese version. Yes, the Japanese version. And I'm going to be using this as my work planner. I will be setting up this planner on this channel, but I will not be showing any flip throughs of this at any point in time, as it will be full of business related things. So that is my intentions for this, is a work planner. This planner over here is the Through the Purple Night Weeks. I got this in the English version, and I am planning on using this as the newest addition to my planner lineup that I have never done before, and I'm going to give it a shot. And this is going to be my Journal of Joy. So I'll explain a bit more about that again when we kind of set this up a little bit or plan it out, and then I'll talk even more when I do end up setting it up. This other weeks here is the Pistachio Weeks Mega. This is in the Japanese version, and I am planning on using this for my garden planner slash garden journal. So I will be taking you guys through that here in a minute. And then this final weeks is the Sneaker Weeks in Leaf Green. It is a very flexible weeks. It has no hardcover. It's basically just a paper book. And I am planning on using this for my health planner slash health journal. And again, we'll be going through this one pretty in depth, as these two are probably the ones that take the most planning before I do any kind of setup. And then this last book over here is the Hobonichi Cousin. This is in the English version. This is the big boy, and I'm hoping to use this as more of an everything planner, a catch-all, a memory keeper, all that kind of good stuff. Just going back to my roots when this was my go-to planner before. And yeah, we will be going step by step through this one as well. And on that note, let's go ahead and start with the big boy, the cousin, and I'm going to be sticky noting, is that a word? Planning out what I'm going to be doing for each section of this planner. First up, you'll notice I do have a clear cover on this, and that is just to protect it from my messy desk. This is a Midori Codex clear cover in the A5 size. I find it works the best for my cousins, since my cousins usually fluff out, but I mainly have it on here already just to protect the paper cover until I do set it up in a few months, but it's just on there for protection. So I'm only going to really be planning out the bits that I think warrant planning out, like what I'm planning to use the different spreads for. And my intentions with this is to primarily give myself some groundwork for when I do set up, just to make that process a little bit faster, but also maybe, put out some ideas and see if there's anything I'm willing to work on with individual sections that I maybe haven't tried before. So the first section that I'm going to be kind of planning in this planner is the Year at a Glance section. I typically use this for like tracking of some kind, so I definitely want to keep that as part of the standard. And I'm thinking I'm going to continue with what I normally do, which is like my period, menstruation, any kind of date nights, maybe my appointments and vacations, But I also want to consider maybe doing something like I did in my health planner and maybe put that on this section too, and that is pain management or pain tracking. And that's just for me to see, you know, what days that I am doing well, what days do I have headaches, what days do I have stomach issues, whatever. So that is my plan for the current year side of the year at a glance tracker. For the other side here, where it has the previous year and then the future year, I don't ever use this for anything. So I'm going to cover this up with a vision board. And I don't know what my vision board is going to be yet. I will definitely probably make something with Canva or Pinterest and just kind of copy paste, plop it down and go from there. But I do want it to be kind of like a full page cover up, just because I like the way that looks and it is a fun reference for me throughout the year. The next section in this planner is what I consider the Calendex, or the future planning section, if you will. There are 12 months in the cousin, and I am probably going to use this for what I normally do, which is some kind of habit tracking. But I also am considering adding in weather tracking, which is something I did in Q3 in my Sterling Ink planner. I don't know if I really feel like it's necessary, but we'll see, because I don't know if I loved it enough to do it again, but maybe it was just the color palette I picked. Anyways, that's what I'm planning to do on the top part. And then for the little bottom section down here, I'm thinking I'm going to continue on with the monthly totals, monthly statistics that I have been doing in, again, my Sterling Ink planners, because I think that's a really fun kind of stat check for myself. I definitely love statistics. I love numbers. So having those little bitty blurps about my life is really fun. So I think that's what I definitely want to use these pages for. When it comes to setup time, I likely will like to do these by month. And again, I'll talk more about that when we get to actual setups in these planners, because I do want to film all of that kind of content for you guys. Okay, moving on. Next is the monthly section in this planner, and I do love how the Hobonichi kind of groups everything together from like months to weeks. I definitely work really well with that. So for the monthly section, I definitely want to continue doing what I've done previously in my months, but with Hobonichi, there are extra months. So instead of just your standard, you know, January through December, the Hobonichi has the extra month before the year, so December of the previous year, and then it has 3 months into the next year. So for the extra months, I don't really want to have duplicate information from other planners. So I'm thinking for my December, this spread here, I want to cover this up with something. So I'm thinking maybe like my garden plans. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to do here, if anything. I even thought about doing something like movies or shows that I'm watching, and then maybe even something like, I don't know, like coffee or tea moments or something like that, which I think I'd rather leave stuff like that to be more in my health planner, but I don't want to just leave these blank because I do enjoy having little, what are they called? I'm blanking on the word, collections. I do like having little collections in the monthlies because it worked really great for my reading, which is a good segue to talk about what I'm going to be doing the last 3 months of this. But I like the collection version of this because then I can look back on it and it's like a full page reference of the whole year. For the monthlies themselves, I do plan on just keeping this the same with, monthly tasks, holidays, and birthdays, and then like brief synopsis kind of thing. Essentially the same way I've been using my monthlies in my current planner system. I don't think I'm going to be doing any kind of like trackers or anything on these pages just because I want them to be great reference points, not necessarily more like planning points, although there will be, future plannings when we take trips and things like that. But for the last 3 months of the monthly section in this planner, I definitely want to do the reading tracker, which is what I did this year in my Hobonichi Hon. I kept up with it, but I ran out of spaces because I read way more books than I was anticipating. So my plan for this is if I start in January versus having only the month in December, I can continue it on for the other 2 months here if I need that space. So that's definitely what I want to set up this section for, is my reading trackers / collections. The next section in this book is the weeklies, and I'm not really going to be pre-planning anything here. I have a general idea of what I want to use these pages for, and that is typically what I normally do, which is like either time tracking my day, having a schedule throughout the day, cleaning lists, a master weekly to-do list, things like that. So I'm not really going to put anything down for the weekly section because this is usually not really pre-planned for me in terms of a setup. It's just when I'm getting to that week, I will set it up the week before, which I hope that makes sense. But the big chunk of this is weeklies here. So let me find the next section. Okay, and then the next section that I like to kind of pre-plan / set up is the 2-page spread. And I do want to continue to use this the exact same way that I used it again in 2024, and that is for goals. So I really enjoyed making this a goals spread, similar to the layout of that in the Sterling ink, where it had the breakdown of like someday, 1 year, 6 months, quarterly, monthly, daily, weekly, whatever, and then having my goals individually broken down. And so this whole thing's turned into like a big table. So I definitely want to do that again because I really did enjoy flipping back to this section and kind of re-referencing where I was at in the year, and since this is still 2024, where I'm still at in the year and what I can still improve on before the end of the year to try to reach those goals. So yeah, definitely want to make this section goals once again. After the blank spread in this planner, there is the monthly / daily pages. So we have a header page for each month and then a big daily page. For the monthly header page, I definitely want to do a currently inked spread of all the fountain pens that I'm going to be using in the month. I just find that's really fun to have a reference page of like what all is going to be in my fountain pen usage for that month, like what inks I'm going to be using. And then I also want to write down maybe like some top memories, put a photo, and also possibly do some intentions and review of the month. It depends on how much space I really have, how small I write, what I really want to do here. I've also considered maybe next year I want to do a flip out with my currently inked, so I can maybe paste it somewhere else if I wanted to and not have it directly on the page. I haven't really made any tough choices with that yet, but that's kind of what I'm thinking for the monthly header pages. For the daily pages though, I definitely want to keep this pretty much the same, either a journal entry, affirmations, prayers for the day, tasks for the day, what am I doing, just kind of like reflection. So not really going to be doing anything on these pages either. But in the back, which is pretty much where all of like the specialty spreads are, this is kind of where more of the setup planning process goes down for me. And that's starting off with the 4 notes pages here. So I love to have an adulting log in all of my books because it helps me see what tasks I need to get done throughout the year. I also love to have a date night log, and then also a reading tracker. But since I'm doing the reading tracker in the front, I think I'm just going to leave it with these 2 things, adulting log and date night log. I'll leave that extra tick on there for no reason. But the adulting log only really takes 1 page, and then my date log may take 2 pages, may only take 1 page. And since there are still 1, 2, 3, 4 pages left in this, I'm tempted to do a deep house cleaning tracker. If you're not new to this channel, or if you are new to this channel, you'll probably think this is a lot of trackers. I am a very tracker heavy person. I love habit trackers, I love data, and this is something I really keep track of in my books. So it's not really abnormal for me to want this many trackers, but yeah, I just want to kind of explain myself for a second there. So I'm thinking of doing like a 52-week cleaning tracker, and that's just to kind of break down all of the different sections of my home that need to be cleaned, and that way I can see how often they're being cleaned, if it's every week, if it's every other week, whatever, and that way I can kind of keep track of my clean house situation. Yeah. And then the last pages on this, I definitely want to do something I saw Helen of the Coffee Monsters Co. do, and she did a letter to herself for the year, and I definitely want to try that for 2025. Okay, and I think 1 page should be enough for that, for sure. Moving on, next section in this is the timetable, and I always struggle to figure out how to use this. In my art and ink journal, I use this for like hand lettering practice, but I think for my main planner, what's going to work best here is similar to what I did last year or current year. Like what I'm going to try to do for 2025 is exactly what I tried to do in 2024, and that was make this into kind of like a workout schedule. And I don't know if I'm going to use it for both of them or not, but a workout schedule so I could have, which muscle group I'm working on here and then which days of the week that I'm going to be moving those muscles. At least that's my intentions for this so far. And then for the graph paper page, I really like to track either my weight or my social media stats here. And I haven't really decided exactly what I want to do yet, so I'm going to write both of those options down. I like to see my weight just over the year because it does fluctuate every week, and I'm not on any kind of like journey per se, but I just like to kind of keep track of my numbers because I like it. And then for social media, I find it's really rewarding to either see like growth or decreasing or whatever with what's going on with my social media platforms. After that, the next section in this book is the favorites page. There are exactly 12 squares here, so I really want to make this similar to what I did in 2024, and that it is a top memories by month. So I'm not sure how I want to lay it out because I don't really love how I did it last year, but I definitely want to keep this as like a top memories page because it's like a snapshot of the whole year at a glance. So you could say like favorite memories if you want instead of top memories, but it's basically got 4 lines per box, so I can pick 4 different things for each box, or I can write really small and do even more than that. For the next section, this is the My 100 section, and I always struggle to use this every year. Again, I feel like a lot of people do. A lot of people struggle to use the back pages, and so I like to try to brainstorm different things that I could possibly do. And since this is a My 100 page, you can pick 100 different things to write down. I've seen some really great ideas, but the one that I kind of want to go with for this section for 2025 is more of like a bucket list thing. So I want to put down 100 things to do before I'm 100, and I think I can come up with 100 different things as like a bucket list item kind of situation. And if I continue to do this year after year, I can just cross off the things that I do achieve or that I do and add more things to the list as I go if I'm feeling that type of way. And then the next sections in this book, I don't know if they are exclusive to the English version or not, but I do have kind of some plans for them. This next section is called Words to Remember, and I kind of want to do a monthly word or like word of the month kind of situation. I really like to look back on this and kind of visualize, where was my mind at? Instead of having like a word of the year, I will have 12 words of the year and a word every month that I can kind of play off of and move towards in a goal type setting, whether it be like inspire, create, potential, which is Hobonichi's word of the year. Like, it's just a really fun space for me to kind of be creative. And then this other page I know is exclusive to the English versions, and this is the 365 checkoff. So I'm really not sure how I want to use this. I feel like it's a very ambitious thing to check off one thing for 365 days straight. And one thing that I think I really need to work on for myself in 2025 is my 5-year journal, because I did slack on that a lot in 2024. So I'm thinking of making this a 5-year journal checkoff. But I've also been really bad about, I don't want to say like scrolling on social media, but getting distracted by social media. So I'm also thinking of making this as like a social media tracking kind of thing. Like if I scrolled or not that day or something like that. And that way I can see visually like how often am I really spending on my phone instead of, being productive with my time. But I don't know exactly what I'm going to choose for this yet either. And then the last few pages in here are pretty standard, I think, across all of the books. So we have the gifts page, the addresses page, and then the personal notes page. So I'm going to probably use the gifts page for my pen pals. I like to keep track of, who who am I sending things to, and like maybe what I'm receiving too, because I definitely like to keep track of everybody. And then for my address page, I think I want to use this the same way I did in 2024, and that is a travel page. And that way I can write down like the different places that I got to travel to throughout the year, as like a little fun snapshot of like all the different places I got to go. Don't really know if I'm going to be filling out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different places, but at least I have enough space for 8 different destinations if I do take that many, I guess, traveling vacations in 2025. Yeah, and then the last page, personal notes, I actually already played with this a little bit because I wanted to make sure my paper was good. So I did a little pen test page at the back with just like the normal fountain pen I use, and then a 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗍𝗍 brush pen, a pentel sign brush pen, and then a black zig dot marker, and I had absolutely no issues with my paper. So that made me feel really good that I didn't get a Hobonichi that was going to cause me some more stress, I guess, in 2025. But that is all I'm really going to planning for my 2025 Hobonichi cousin. I definitely will be sharing the full setup of this when that time comes, but now I have a general idea of what I want to do for each section, and maybe then I can get creative and figure out, what tapes I want to use, what stickers, whatever I want to put in those spaces. But let's move on into the next journal. And with that, I'm going to be doing my health journal next. I feel like this is another journal that I don't think I could ever live without. And I'm downsizing from a sterling ink into the Hobonichi Weeks Mega. If it's considered downsizing, I don't really think so. They're practically the same size, but the Hobonichi Weeks Mega has about 100 more notes pages in it than the N2 Compact. And kind of what I want to use this for needs more notes pages than the compact version of the sterling ink, which is the only reason I really switched, because I really did love the sterling ink's version of this size of a planner, but I didn't want to commit to the full year version, which is like a super chunky book, because I don't think I was going to be able to use that many pages. So I hit the middle ground, and that's why I went with Hobonichi. Okay, so now let's kind of go through what my plans are here. So the first section, again, is the year at a glance section in this book, and I definitely want to use this for pain tracking or pain management, which is similar to what I did in 2024. I found it was incredibly interesting and helpful for me to see what days I was having headaches, what days I was having, like a depression or like digestive issues, whatever I was tracking. And I think this is a really nice, handy section for me. But again, I'm not going to be using the future or past years, so the 2024 and 2026 section. I think I do want to cover this up with another type of vision board, maybe one that's a little bit more centered towards health or wellness, my goals for fitness maybe in 2025, but I don't think I want to just leave it blank. I think I'd rather have something pretty to look at that is inspiring for myself. For the Calendex pages in this, I think I'm going to keep it as same again as I did in 2024. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? And this is going to be exercise tracking, and I pretty much just want to see, what days I ran, what days I did weightlifting, what days I did yoga or my heavy bag workouts or whatever, and that way I have it all kind of in a 1-page or 2-page spread of the whole year, which I do like this better than the sterling ink version, the 2024 versions at least, where it's all broken up in quarter. I think in her 2025 book, she does have a spread exactly like this now. Then the next sections in this book is just like the cousin. It is the monthlies, and just like the cousin again, it has December of the previous year and then the 3 months into the future years. So January, February, and March of 2026. So for the December 2024 pages, I don't want to use this for monthly. Again, I want to kind of utilize these pages more for like collections, and I'm thinking I want to do this as the tea and coffee page that I mentioned in the other book, and that is kind of writing down the different teas or new coffees or whatever I try out in 2025, because I think that would be kind of fun to have a little list of maybe like coffees or teas that I got to try and how I loved them or hated them or how that kind of experience went in general. Almost like a little coffee journal, but it's much more smaller and compact because I don't really change my caffeinated beverages that often. Anyways, For the actual monthly sections, I do think I want to keep up with this similar to how I did in 2024, where I was doing a mood tracker. So I was using an emoji sticker every single day. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that again or if I want to try a gratitude entry. So I'm going to put both down. And that is primarily because I don't know if I'm going to have a separate gratitude journal for 2025. I do have a planner that I'm thinking I might move into becoming a gratitude journal, but I'm honestly tempted to just make it more of like a personal like dream manifestations journal, so that way it's a little more personal. I can put gratitude in here. I am not 100% sure yet, but that's what I'm generically thinking, is either doing the mood tracking thing again with the emoji stickers, because I really did have so much fun doing that. I'm still having fun doing that, or if I want to change it into just a very short gratitude entry. Anyways, the other section, or the other months, so like January of 2026, much like the collections of tea and coffee, I'm thinking about making this one about restaurants. Okay, I can't spell restaurants, but I know what I mean to myself, and that's what's important here. I'm thinking about making this into restaurants, and this book is still really new, so it's not laying quite flat enough for me yet, so I'm just going to clip this page down so it stays flat. But I'm thinking about making the January of 2026 monthly page the collections for restaurants that I visit in 2025, and then I think for February I want to do this as more of like a recipe page, so different recipes that I try out for the first time in 2025, versus having the collection pages in the back where I actually write out the full recipe. I think I'd prefer to just have a little like what was the recipe and then 5 stars or whatever. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing instead, is on a monthly collection page versus having notes pages in the back for that. And then the final month here, I definitely want to do something with, I think, music, maybe podcasts, even music or podcasts, just because I've really been getting into like the newer music and enjoying listening to that, and then also finding some really fun podcasts to listen to, like while I pack orders or while I'm designing and things like that. After all the monthly sections, you go straight into your weeklies, and surprise, surprise, my weekly sections for my health planner are not going to be changing at all, because again, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So I love to use this as a space to track my meals, and then a space to kind of track fasting, mental health, and routine. So when I get to the setup of this planner, I will probably set up the first week, maybe. If not, I will re-reference and show how I'm using it in my current planner. But I'm going to just skip over this section for now, because I'm not going to be doing anything planning wise for this kind of stuff. Okay, now let's get into the bread and butter, or meat and potatoes. I don't know. The food analogies kind of escape me sometimes. But this is like the bulk of this planner setup for me is in the notes pages, because when I set up my health planner, I want to set up the whole thing for the whole year. Because 1, it makes it easier for me to use. 2, it saves me so much time if I just get it all done in the beginning. And 3, it's just nice to have everything kind of like laid out and ready to go. So the first section here is a Japanese version of note-taking, and then the notes page itself. So for the Japanese side, as much as I would love to keep this and reference it to help my journey in learning Japanese, I'm probably going to cover this up with another vision board is my guess. Maybe a fun cardstock. I'll probably just cover it up just so it's a little bit more me. Yeah. And then for the other side here, the notes, I will probably use this as an index once I finish setting up the back pages. So I'm going to leave this blank for now. But in the actual notes pages, this is what I'm thinking about doing. So I really enjoyed having a body measurement page, so I'm thinking about doing that again. So that's probably going to be 2 pages. So I'll have like the previous year and then the current year, so like 2024, 2025, because in my planner right now I have 2023 and 2024. I think that's what I have on there, but we'll see. I can always re-reference it if I need to. But I definitely want to do some body measurements again, because that was really fun to kind of look at. And then I'm tempted to do another like goal breakdown section, which again, this is me pulling a lot from the Sterling Ink book, because I really did love her setup. It's just, I didn't want to commit to that many notes pages. So that's why I'm in the weeks. But yeah, I definitely think I want to do another kind of like health goals breakdown, very similar to how I did it in the Sterling Ink book. But again, this is all pre-planning, right? Like this is all just me spitballing what I'm thinking about doing. But it's probably going to be a two-page spread again. If I don't do that, I'll probably do like a little paragraph for each section of my health that I'm trying to work on in 2025, you know, running, weightlifting, eating healthy, mental health, things like that. Yeah. Okay. So next is going to be all about the health trackers I do. So I like to have a 2-page spread per month of all of the different health trackers. So I want my sleep, mood, and stress on one side, and then my habits on the other page. And I'm thinking instead of having them all, I guess, back to back, I'll have a header page and then start. I've also debated on maybe sectioning out the back of this planner with vellum sheets. I haven't committed to anything, right? Like this is all me spitballing, pre-planning, planning, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think I'm going to just make this a header page. And then after that, it's going to be the habits and sleep, mood, and stress. And I will need to do 12 of these pages. So essentially this will be January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So that would be it for the habit trackers. And then I want to do another kind of header page. And this is where I'm going to be starting my running log. And this is just a really fun way for me to see my running progress throughout the year, especially because I met my goal in 2024 of running a 10K, and I definitely want to make another goal in 2025 of running a 10K again, but with a better pace. So I want to have a space for my running log, but I don't need 2 pages per month. I only need 1. So this would be like a January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. And then the final section in this book is kind of what I wanted all of these extra pages for, and that is to make it more of a weightlifting log. So again, header page here. And for my weightlifting log, I would probably want to say it's going to be on a day-to-day basis. So I'm not going to be counting out any months here. But it would be like the date that I go, what exercises I did, how much weight I did need each exercise, and things like that. And the reason why I wanted all of these notes pages in the back, because I don't know how much space I'm going to be needing on a day-to-day basis. But I knew, like, I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to be needing 300 pages, like not a page a day or anything like that, for this kind of entry, because I'm not going to be weightlifting 365 days out of the year. I'm probably going to be doing like 3 to 6 times a week, depending on how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, things like that. So I think having, what is that? 150 pages roughly, in the back will be enough for the whole year to kind of denote what I'm going to be weightlifting in that sections, or in those sections. And then the last few pages in here are like the other Hobonichis, where they have the extra pages. I'm not going to be doing too much back here. I do think for the My 100 pages, I want to put down 100 positive things in my life, because this is a health journal and I like to keep things positive, mentally happy. But I think that 100 positive things, or 100 things that maybe make me happy, are something that I could put here just as a fun way to look back and see, you know, okay, this is stuff I want to remember as being a happy thing in my life this year. So I may fill this out as the year goes on, or I may start the year off with 100 things listed down. I haven't really decided yet. And then since this is the Japanese version, the other pages back here don't really have any meaning for me in terms of setup. They're just kind of really fun reference pages, and I don't really have any other plans on anything to do with those. And that concludes, I think, all of the plans that I have for this lovely little health planner. And with that, let's go ahead and move on into the next planner we're going to be doing, or I'm going to be doing, I guess, and that is my garden planner. So this again is the Hobonichi Weeks Mega Pistachio. I was really tempted to make this into my health planner, but I really liked the flexibility of the Sneaker Weeks cover. So I decided to make this one garden because it's going to get a little bit more wear and tear, and that it's going to be taking a little bit more of an adventure going outside and whatnot. Anyways, for the plans that I have for this, I'm not making too many changes as to how I've used the Hobonichi Weeks in previous years, and also how I used the Sterling Ink and One this year in 2024. So I'm still planning on keeping my year at a glance pages for precipitation and like fall frost dates and things like that. And one thing I do love about the Hobonichi Weeks, at least for a garden planner standpoint, is it does have the previous year. So I will track the precipitation and frost dates for the current year, but I also love to re-reference previous year's data, especially when it comes to gardening. I find it's very helpful to kind of see maybe what I did in previous years. So I'm going to fill out the top part here with the 2024 precipitation and frost dates. Once the year is over, I will go in and fill this part out. And then for the bottom sections here, I may cover this up with like a key, may cover it up with just some fun photos of the garden. I haven't really decided yet, but I definitely want to utilize both of these pages for the garden. For the year at a glance, or not the year at a glance, for the Calendex pages, I definitely want to keep this the same again with temperature tracking. I have found this to be so satisfying to see over time like how everything goes year to year and how the colors kind of shift a little bit, because I try to keep the same color key for this type of stuff. And I'm really bad about talking and writing at the same time, so I'm sure I've misspelled 1,000,010 things at this point, but I can understand my own handwriting, and that's what's important here. For the monthly pages in here, I don't really have any use for this first month, and I'm probably just going to leave it blank. I don't really keep any collections or anything for a garden standpoint, but for the actual months in the year, so the 2025 months, January through December, I will use this as a monthly task section, maybe when I'm planting stuff out, big events that happened with our chickens and ducks, dog things, like, yeah, I mainly just want to use this similar to how I've used it before. I don't really have any extra things that I want to do in the monthly sections. And the same thing can be said for the other months that are included in the monthly section. So the 2026 months, January, February, and March, I have no plans to use those parts of this planner either, which feels kind of like a waste, but I can always use them for pre-planning if I need to. I just don't have a use for any kind of collections or these monthly pages, honestly, in this planner, which is fine. It's totally fine. For the weekly, again, I'm not really going to be setting anything up here, but I'm going to use it similarly to how I did in 2024. So I will have a list of things to do day by day over here, a major task list, a weekly routine checklist, maybe even a daily entry situation, which is what I'm currently doing here in October, writing just a small entry of the day because I don't really have much going else nothing else going on in my garden. So I'm not really going to be setting up anything here, planning anything out here either. But the notes pages is probably where the bulk of this planner setup is going to be, planner plan setup. I really don't know what to call this, honestly. But this is where the bulk of the information is going to go in terms of pre-planning setup stuff. So for the notes page itself, I definitely want to do a vision board again to cover up this side. I probably will just create something again on Canva or Pinterest. I don't think I'll use any actual photos of my garden unless I'm just feeling like it. Maybe I'll take some fun. I'll have a photo shoot with my chickens or something. I don't know. I definitely think a vision board here. And then on the other page, I will do an index similar to what I did or want to do for my health journal. And then for the blank pages, the actual start of the notes pages, this is where I want to put down more of like a monthly list of what I plan to plant and what I plan to harvest. So this is going to be very similar to the setup that I did in 2023 when I was last in Hobonichi Weeks for my garden journal. And I really liked having a space to see what I could possibly plant for that month, and then having another page to write down, okay, what did you actually do? So that way I can look roughly on each page and see, okay, It's been how many years since I planted that. It's been blah, blah, blah. So I can just reference both of those pages together. And I realize this is kind of hard to visualize because I'm just writing stuff on sticky notes, but I promise when we get to setup time, I will make this a little bit more visually noticeable of what I'm trying to do, I guess. This is just like the pre-planning stage for me, or the planning stage, again, whatever you want to call it. And because I plan on having a section like this for every single month, I definitely want to count out all 12 months for this. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So that would be the end of that. Do I want to do a cover page? Okay, I think I want to do a cover page. So I'm going to add, just peel that sticky note up. I'm going to add one more page to this little section because I think having a cover page is more important to me, so I can just have a really nice little designated section. Okay, so that is it for the monthly planting harvesting section. The next part in my garden journal that I really like to have is weekly journal entries, and this is something that I really do best with at the beginning of the year, and then kind of have discovered maybe towards the end of the year I don't really need them as much because I'm doing daily entries in my weekly pages, but I still want to have a space for this in the back. Like, this is still a really important section for me, I guess, because it's a good synopsis of like what happened during that week. So I'm going to probably do another header page here because I don't know, I'm feeling the header pages for 2025. Just a nice little break in the space, you know what I mean? So header page. And then this is where it gets kind of fuzzy. I can do either a monthly header page on top of that and then start with the weeks, or I can just go straight into the weekly entries. And I think I'm just going to do the weekly entries because I don't really need two types of header pages. I'm good with just the one. So we're going to say this will be week 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to count this all the way out to 52. So I'll probably speed through this because it's going to be, I don't know, just a lot of me counting. Okay, so this is technically page 53 of all of that counting. And I know some of you are probably like, why didn't you just count backwards from the page numbers? I'm just going to stop you right there. I've done that in the past and I've miscounted. So it's just easier for me to tangibly count as I go. Okay, but this is technically page 53, so that would be 53 weeks, and I'll probably just make it up to 54 weeks, just in case I have a little bit of extra space, or if I have days that I write more than one page or something like that. Unlikely, but I'd rather just have a couple of extra pages. And then the rest of these pages, so all of these lovely pages here in the back, I am going to be, like the blank notes pages, I'm going to be using for just notes about garden stuff, if I get any fun recipes, if I need to do any kind of construction, materials lists, whatever. These are literally just going to be probably more of like general notes kind of situation. Also may include fun like little tidbits, pictures, whatever. More of like a bullet journal style in the back pages here is the best way I could probably put that, because it's just going to be a hodgepodge of a bunch of stuff for the garden in 2025. So not a lot of structured information. And then the last sections in this planner, just like the other weeks, is the My 100 page. And I definitely want to do this as everything, like all of the different varieties of stuff that I'm growing. I by no means plan on growing 100 different types of things, but I want to have just a general list to see what I'm going to grow or what I ended up planting in 2025. So, and I'm going to do it by variety because I usually grow like 3 to 4 different types of tomatoes, like a couple of types of cucumbers, lots of different kinds of peppers, onions. And this way, having a list of the different varieties, I can look back and see, okay, we tried out those, sugar pumpkins and they were not as sweet as I wanted, so I'm not going to grow those again, or whatever. Like, it's just a nice little reference page. And again, I by no means am planning on planting 100 different things. I think I would just never sleep if I tried to do that. Anyways, yeah, that is it for this planner. Pretty simple for the garden. I do a lot of this planning, honestly, in my computer on spreadsheets, and then I like to keep it into a paper book because I can take this outside with me. But most of this is pretty simple in terms of like planning on paper wise. Yeah. But yeah, that is it for this garden planner. And with that, let's do the last Hobonichi weeks here before I move on into my work planner. And this is probably the planner I am, I don't know, the most excited for in 2025. So I don't want to say I've never, but I don't remember ever doing a planner like this, and being that it is a journal of joy, it's going to be a planner all about things that I'm going to say bring me joy throughout the year. But it's also going to be more of like a hobbies journal. Definitely got a little bit inspired by Bronte Plans. If you've seen any of her videos and her hobby journal that she has with like reading and knitting and things like that, I think it's such a fun concept, and I definitely wanted to give it a shot for myself this year. So in this journal, I'm planning on primarily doing things with reading, movies, shows, any kind of like museum visits, cafes, like literally just anything that brings me joy is going to go into this as more of like a really fun place. Like that's what I want this to be, is a fun place. And primarily this is because of the cover. I had to have this cover. It is fantasy, it is whimsical, it is beautiful. I didn't really have a plan when I bought it, but I refused not to use this. So it is just too pretty not to have on my shelf to get to see and get to play with every single day in 2025, or attempt to play with every single day in 2025. Again, haven't done this before, may flop off, but this is definitely a really fun intention and I'm really excited for it. Okay, so for the year at a glance pages, I don't really know what I want to do with this because I don't really have anything I want to track in terms of like joy, at least here. But I'm thinking for this page, I'll cover it up with like a fun sticker or something. Maybe just to have some decoration, or I may just do 2 vision boards or something like that, because I'm thinking I'm not really going to reference this section much for anything other than just, again, joy. So stickers bring me joy, and having a vision board of things that I love or things that would make me laugh would also bring me joy. So I'm thinking that's 2 things. I may either cover this section up with 2 vision boards, like I said, or just do like a sticker a day, or sticker a month, sorry, of something that, you know, makes me laugh, makes me smile, whatever. Then for the Calendex pages, this is kind of a tricky spot for me because I love to use these pages for tracking. And again, like I just mentioned, I don't really know what I could track with in terms of like joy. But since I am kind of making this more of a, I don't know, it is a joy journal. Like, I'm thinking about maybe using this for like the number of pages I read in a day or something, but I don't read every day, and I don't know if I really want to get that specific of how much I'm reading, because that might turn me off of it. Like if I only read like, I don't know, 5 pages in one day, and the next day I read like 500 pages. Like I don't want this to be a chore, if that makes sense. So I'm just spitballing ideas. So I'm thinking a number of pages read. I'm also thinking maybe color like the space in if I laughed at something that day, or maybe write down, you know, what was funny that day. Just a fun 1-word answer, you know, what was funny. I could say my dog farted or something. I don't know. Like something that made me giggle, and just have like a little word or something. I don't know. That's just some ideas I've thought of. I haven't really stuck with anything that I'm really considering yet, but those are just some fun thoughts that I think might bring me some joy, since this is a little journal of joy. Okay, now let's do monthlies. And this, I think I want to do like when I start a show or movie, or maybe when I start a certain book, and then I will have it like color coded, I'm thinking. So like, let's say I start, I don't know, A Christmas Carol on December 1st, and I finish it on the 2nd. Then I can write Christmas Carol and then draw a little line in whatever color I chose. Or let's say I start a show, or I watch The Polar Express and like around Christmas time. Let's say I watch it on Christmas Eve. I can write down A Polar Express. It's just like a little fun thing I'm thinking of, seeing what all I'm watching, consuming, reading, whatever, and having it in a monthly view like this versus having it in a list view, which is what I'm used to. So yeah, that's just what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking shows, movies, and books,
color code question mark. Because I think that would be really fun to see, you know, what days I maybe watch movies more often. I don't know, maybe how long it takes me to finish a book once I start it, all that kind of stuff, which I do plan on. This journal is probably going to have a lot of duplicate information from other journals, but I think the way I want to use this is more of just a space to be creative. So yeah, and I may actually use this in December because I don't really have anything like this, and if I can start using it when the planner actually starts, which is like December 1st, or I think it's actually November 25th, but I'm thinking this would be a really fun place to do that. Okay, now let's think about weeklies. So the weekly section, I think I may use this as just a fun little blurb of, like, I don't know, write something fun, like I don't know, like just what am I doing? Like a small entry kind of situation, similar to how I want to use the garden journal when I'm not busy. So like a small entry of like what I'm reading, watching, like how I'm feeling maybe. Again, anything to bring me joy, maybe like what made me laugh, I'm not sure. And then for the right page, I think this would be more of like a journal entry. So like what I'm thinking is, let's say on November 25th, I start reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows because I did really great on my TBR and made it all the way through the series until I got the last one or something. And then on the right page, I can write down all of my thoughts and feelings about the progress I've made in the book. Or I can say on Thanksgiving, which is Thursday the 28th, I watched the Macy's Day Parade with my family. And then I can write down over here like how much fun it was. Like I'm thinking just like a small entry of like maybe what I'm doing, and then a larger entry of like thoughts and feelings. Like basically I went to ask myself on the larger page, like the blank page, you know, what brought me joy this week, and answer that. So like larger entry being like, you know, again, what brought me joy this week, and if it takes the whole page to do that, it does. If not, then I'm going to decorate the rest of it with stickers and washi tape. Okay, now that that's kind of like a generic thought process of how I want to use this, for the notes pages in this book, I don't really have many other thoughts other than like book reviews. So similar to how I use my book journal, where I have, you know, notes about the author, what I rated it, and then a little bitty like paragraph or a couple of paragraphs of like, did I like it? You know, did I hate it? Like, what do I think? So I'm thinking that's really what I want to use the note section for, is like book reviews. But I'm also thinking maybe I will do movie and show reviews as well. Movie-show review. Because I find that when I watch a certain movie or watch a certain show, I just immediately push it out of my brain. Like, okay, content consumed, moving on with my life. But there are some things that I think I need to be more present with, and I think that's something I want to try to do back here. So just kind of a little personal review of what I'm consuming, kind of in the sense that it's like a commonplace, but I don't know. I don't know if I can consider it really commonplacing other than just like reviewing what I'm consuming. For these pages, by the way, I'll probably just make this an index, and I may cover this up with another vision board, but I'm not really going to put that down. I think it's going to be whatever I use that for. But yeah, I think that's what I really want to use all of these back pages for. And since it is a regular weeks, there are 73 pages, and that this is a English edition. I believe the Japanese edition has 68 pages, or it has a few less pages. Not substantial, but just a few less. But I think having 73 pages should be enough for at least, you know, book reviews. I don't know if it'll be enough for show and movies, but we shall see. Okay, then the last few pages in here, since this is an English edition, it does have different pages. The favorites pages here, I think I want to make this what were my like 5-star reads and shows, so, or movies. like, oh my gosh, I cannot speak and talk. I mean, write and talk. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. But I definitely want to have like a small log of maybe what my favorites were for the year, and actually use this in terms of like what were my favorites, like what things brought me joy so much that they deserved a 5-star in my life. And I think that's what I want to use this for. For the My 100 page, I think I want to make this more of like a log of either movies or shows. I'm thinking this is going to be very media heavy, but I'm thinking movies and shows, and then if I start a show and I don't like it or I don't finish it, I can just cross it out, and that'll be like my note to self that I didn't finish it. That's just what I'm thinking. Again, spitballing ideas. I'm not really set on anything yet. This is just kind of like a planning what I'm trying to think out of my brain. Yeah. And then the last page in here I think that I want to use is the 365 checkoff. And again, this is very unique to the English version of the Hobonichi planners. And I definitely want to check this off as like, you know, did I read? And I don't expect to fill this out for every single day of the year. I'd be really impressed with myself if I did, but I just want to see, you know, in a general sense, like how many days out of the year am I actually reading, because it's kind of fun. I don't know. Yeah. And I think that's all I really want to use that for. I don't really have a need for address pages or anything else. So I think that's it for the Journal of Joy plans that I have for this Through the Purple Night in 2025. And on that note, let's end off with the 𝗖𝗃 Techo here, which is what I plan again to use for my work planner. So I'm just going to kind of plan out what sections I need to plan to use in this. Again, I probably will show the setup of this and then it will never see the light of day on camera again, just because it's going to have a lot of really personal businessy type stuff in it. Okay, so for the year at a glance pages, this is where I'm going to be doing my future planning for sale dates and releases. So this is where I'll probably mark with a dot marker, you know, okay, this color is for sales, this color is for releases, and that way I have a outlook on my year of like when I'm planning to do stuff for my small business. And then for the Calendex pages, since this has multiple months in it, so it goes all the way through December, I will probably just cover this up with like, I don't know, a header of like what I'm planning to use this for, and then use the other sections for my social media post planning. So what YouTube videos I have planned out, Instagram, Facebook posts, anything like that. And I don't know if I will have room for everything, but I also may use this as a way to track my orders through my shop to see like maybe if I'm getting a lot of orders in certain months of the year or not. But I mainly want to use this for social media planning more than anything else. But if I have space, I will likely add in, you know, order totals, like how many orders a day I'm getting, or monthly profits or anything like that. Then for the monthly section in this book, yeah, I think I want to use this for just personal planning in terms of like, I guess more of like releases, to-dos, also like when I'm getting packages delivered and stuff, because I have to get like I have Uline deliveries, I have other kind of shop deliveries too. Traditionally just using it as a monthly planner in sense of this is what my month needs to look like and this is what I'm planning to do this month. Not really super in depth, I know, I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I want to use this for, is just generally as a monthly planner of what I need to get done on what day, in what week, whatever. The next section in here is the turning a page, and I don't really know if I want to use this page at all. I may leave it blank. I also may do another kind of letter to myself in a business sense, maybe like goals for the business or something like that, just because I like to have a place to reflect. So I may use that for this section. I also may just leave this completely blank. I haven't really decided. Again, this is me just kind of spitballing ideas of what I want to use for which section and how I feel like it's going to best keep me organized for the year. For the monthly header pages, so this is the Techo, so there's no weeklies in this. For the monthly header page, I definitely want to use this for my theme ideas. I try to do different themes each month, at least design-wise, and so I will probably think of theme ideas and just list them out here. Whether I go with each theme, who knows? I also may put this, put down like video requests, because I do get quite a few different video requests each month, and I can just have a little list of them here, and that way I can reference back, you know, maybe I need to come back next year and do it at this time, or if I want to do it a different month, whatever. And then for the daily tasks or daily pages, this would likely just be tasks for the day. And this is easy and small, and I can carry this around my home or to a cafe or whatever and just kind of keep it a little bit more concise. I don't need to have a whole bunch of space for business tasks since this is only going to be for business. This should be plenty of room for me to write down everything I need to get done in a day. And if my task list is longer than this page, then I probably need to work on my priorities. Yeah, so that's going to be it for the daily pages / monthly header pages. One thing I do like about the Techo is that there's plenty of notes pages in the back. So I want to make these notes pages as more of like a monthly review. So there should be enough pages for me to do 1 page per month. So I will have a page for January, February, all the way through December. And essentially I will write down, you know, like how did I do? You know, what can I improve on for next month? Maybe do my sales totals, revenue, profit, loss, whatever, and have that all kind of listed out in a monthly format in these pages. It's more of like a bullet journal style again, because there's not really a spread for that in this planner. This isn't a business planner. I'm just turning it into a business planner. So I definitely want to have that kind of information for myself. And then the other pages in here. Oh my goodness. Then, yeah, okay, so then there's the timetable pages, and I think I want to do this as more of a social media posting schedule. I don't think I need 2 pages for this, but I could easily do like a section for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then the rest of this just leave it blank, cover it up, whatever. But I do think having a schedule that I can reference for myself is handy, especially because posting every single day is a bit draining, a bit overwhelming at times, so having a designated set of days to post on would really help me stay a bit more organized. And then for the graph pages, again, I do like that the Techo has 2 of them. So I think I want to use one of them for my social media stats. And then I think the other one I would like to do sales / profits. So I can see how everything is trending throughout the year. And I think this will work really well. If I don't do both options, I'll probably just do sales and profits, because I don't know how close together my lines are going to be once I track this all out, but that's kind of the intentions I have for these pages. And then for the favorites pages, I don't really know what I want to use these for, because there are so many of them. There's, I think, 40 sections here. So I don't know if, yeah, I don't know. I really don't. So I'll probably just leave these blank, honestly. Yeah. And then the My 100 page, I don't know again here for this either. I'm thinking maybe YouTube video ideas. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking YouTube video ideas. And maybe for this other section, the favorite section, I could think of like theme collections or design ideas. Again, you don't have to use every section of the planner, but I'm thinking of just, I mean, I like to use all the paper that I can because I do enjoy the Tomoe River paper, and I'm glad that none of the Hobonichis I got had any of the paper issues that I saw were being reported. But I don't need to use every spread. It's just kind of like an idea. Okay, and then let's see, there's all of the Japanese reference pages, because this is the Japanese version. And then there should be, I think, a gifts page. Ooh, I just have random paper. That's fine. Yeah, for the gifts page, I'm thinking of doing giveaways here. I may also write down more of like pen pal information too. I haven't really decided, but I'm thinking this is where I'm going to keep track of like the different giveaways I do, how much they cost for me personally. Obviously it's free because it's a giveaway for you guys. But it's just a nice way for me to keep track of things like that. And then addresses page. I think this is where I want to write down possible pen shows. So I was unlucky again this year and didn't get to go to the Dallas pen show that I wanted to go to because I was out of town. But I'm definitely considering going in 2025. And then I also may go to other pen shows. I haven't really decided yet. And then there's also some stationery type shows that I'm looking at too for 2025. So I will probably keep track of all of that here, and then keep track of any travels I do for my business. Yeah, I think that's mainly what I want to use that for. That is it for this little planner. I did get the weekly supplement that goes along with the 𝗖𝗃 Techo, but I don't really need to plan out anything in that because it's just weeklies, and I plan on just using it in a messy way to kind of jot down quick things of what I need to get done throughout the week. So don't really need to set up anything with that with you guys on camera. But yeah, I think that is it for this video. I definitely have a great idea of everything that I want to do for all of these lovely Hobonichi planners. I'm glad I kind of filmed out my thought process in a way so you guys can see kind of where I come from and what I'm planning on doing, you know, with each one of these, and how I kind of like pre-plan the plans, if you will. Yeah, I definitely am really excited to move into these books and am excited to start setting them up. I probably will start setting them up maybe in a couple of weeks because I'm getting the itch to just start, get my creative juices going. So stay tuned for those videos. I will also be making a part 2 like this video. So instead of Hobonichi planners, I will be going over how I'm planning to use my Take a Note planner for my astrology practice, my Wonderland 222 as a second option to a catch-all everything memory keeper type planner. And then I will also have, I think, my Magic of I planner as well. I think that's all the planners I ordered for 2025. I know it sounds like a lot. I know. It's just, it's who I am on the inside. I love having multiple books. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave the video off here. If you have any questions about my thought process on this, how I'm planning to use them if I didn't explain it well enough, or any questions in general about Hobonichi or maybe planners, whatever you're feeling, be happy to chat with you about it down in the comments. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy 2025 planner season, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.